When I first entered the dating scene, my dad imparted some invaluable advice: men of value don't tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or deceit from women. Stay true to yourself and uphold your worth as a man. However, plans took an unexpected turn. Sweetheart, there's been a change of plans, I informed my wife. The merger meeting has been rescheduled, and I must leave tomorrow morning. I won't return until late Sunday. Fully aware of the significance of the impending wedding, especially since she held the role of maid of honor, I expressed my regrets. But darling, I've just been promoted to CFO, and skipping this meeting is simply not an option for the company or our future. I'm truly sorry. Her response was one of disbelief and disappointment. Are you serious? We've meticulously planned this for so long, and now, at the 11th hour, you're canceling? Concerns about attending the event alone and the potential embarrassment weighed heavily on her. Can't someone else take your place? She pleaded. This deal is worth over $2 billion, and I'm leading it, I explained. There's no one else who can step in. The livelihoods of many depend on our success. Despite my attempts to reason with her, she remained furious, relegating me to the guest room with a coldness and anger I had never before experienced. I spent the night trying to comprehend her reaction. I knew the significance of the wedding to her, particularly due to her friend Carol's tumultuous past. Carol's battle with a life-threatening illness was compounded by her husband's betrayal and subsequent abandonment, which plunged her into a deep depression. After years of struggle, she found solace in a new relationship and was finally experiencing happiness again. Brandon, her fiancé, was devoted to her, and their upcoming wedding was a symbol of hope and renewal. Understanding the importance of the wedding to Vera, I regretted the necessity of my cancellation. As I prepared for my trip the following morning, I attempted to bid her farewell, only to find our bedroom door locked. Undeterred, I expressed my love and promised to call upon my arrival in Germany. Despite my efforts to mend the situation, her silence persisted. During my journey, I attempted to reach out multiple times, leaving messages and texts, but received no response. I was disheartened by her lack of understanding and compassion, especially after nearly 2 decades of marriage. As I reflected on the situation, I knew that regaining her trust and affection would require sincere and heartfelt apologies. Desperate to reconcile, I reached out to our twin daughters, hoping to bridge the divide and mend the rift caused by my unavoidable absence. I reached out to our daughters, imploring them to check in on their mom and ensure her well-being. Stressing my concern and the imperative need for their prompt response to alleviate my growing worries, I emphasized the significant role they played in my life. Their reassurances, coupled with expressions of love, served as a comforting balm, reaffirming the depth of our familial bond, a bond I held in the highest regard. Upon my arrival in Germany, I swiftly sought an update from my chief executive officer, only to be met with the distressing news that the meeting had been abruptly canceled due to a tragic family incident involving the chief executive officer of the partnering company. Faced with this unforeseen turn of events, I immediately took action, securing a direct flight to Chicago O'Hare, strategically positioned just 30 minutes away from the reception venue. With the wedding festivities scheduled to commence at 7:00 p.m. I calculated that I could feasibly arrive by 9:00 p.m. Determined to stand by my wife's side and offer the unwavering support she deserved on such an important occasion. Upon touchdown, I wasted no time in securing a rental car, relying on the trusty guidance of my GPS to navigate the unfamiliar terrain and swiftly make my way to the reception hall. As I arrived just after 9:00 p.m., the atmosphere was electric, pulsating with the rhythmic beats of music, the joyful laughter of guests, and the clinking of glasses raised in celebration. The vibrant ambience, coupled with the palpable sense of excitement, filled me with eager anticipation as I scanned the crowded room in search of my beloved wife. Amidst the sea of faces, finding Vera proved to be a challenging task, prompting me to seek a momentary respite at the bar where I indulged in a double bourbon, allowing the amber liquid to warm my senses as I surveyed the room with a sense of anticipation and longing. Reflecting on the journey we had embarked on together, I couldn't help but marvel at the resilience and strength of character displayed by Vera, particularly in the aftermath of her tumultuous divorce. Despite enduring the pain of betrayal and shattered dreams, she had risen from the ashes with unwavering resolve, carving out a new path for herself marked by courage and resilience. Our love story, rooted in shared values of trust, loyalty, and unwavering commitment, had weathered its fair share of storms, emerging stronger and more resilient with each passing trial. Vera's courageous decision to confront infidelity head-on underscored the importance of honesty and integrity in our relationship, serving as a testament to her unwavering strength of character. As I continued my search for Vera amidst the bustling throng of guests, I couldn't help but feel a swell of gratitude for the profound connection we shared and the enduring values that formed the bedrock of our marriage. The fabric of our relationship had woven a tapestry of love and trust, resilient against the ebb and flow of life's uncertainties, until the unforeseen unraveling at the wedding. Vera, at 44, possessed an enduring elegance, while I, at 39, embraced a vitality fueled by my commitment to fitness and running. Despite the 5-year age gap, our connection thrived, fortified by shared dreams and mutual respect. Our twin daughters, Marcia and Carrie, stood on the precipice of their adult lives, their aspirations illuminating the horizon with promise and possibility. Together, we had built a sanctuary of love and understanding, a sanctuary that seemed impervious to the tumultuous winds of change. However, the tranquility of our sanctuary was shattered when I beheld Vera seated alone with Clayton, her former husband, at the wedding. Though Clayton's presence was ostensibly innocuous, his attendance without his own spouse stirred an unsettling disquiet within me. Driven by a potent blend of exhaustion from the journey and an insatiable curiosity, I paused, transfixed by the unfolding tableau before me, a tableau that threatened to redefine the contours of our shared reality. As I observed their interaction, a gnawing sense of apprehension gnawed at the edges of my consciousness. Before I could discern the nature of their discourse, Vera rose from her seat, her hand intertwined with Clayton's, leading him to the center of the dance floor. Clad in her resplendent ivory gown, she exuded a confidence tinged with an unmistakable hint of inebriation, a trait that had occasionally colored our shared moments. Yet, what followed transcended the realm of comprehension, plunging me into the depths of a disorienting maelstrom of emotions. Witnessing my beloved wife engage in intimate gestures and tender exchanges with another man, oblivious to the sanctity of our marital vows, ignited a tempest of anguish and indignation within me. The sight of them locked in an embrace, their lips meeting in a fervent kiss, pierced through the veneer of my composure, leaving me raw and vulnerable in its wake. In that poignant moment, as the veil of betrayal descended upon our once unassailable union, I stood at the precipice of an unfathomable abyss, grappling with the stark reality of our fractured bond. Recalling the timeless wisdom imparted by my father, who extolled the virtues of self-respect and unwavering integrity, I confronted the harrowing crossroads that lay before me. Tempted by the primal urge to confront them with righteous indignation, I chose instead to retreat into the shadows, harboring the shards of my shattered heart with stoic resolve. For in that crucible of betrayal, I realized that the sanctity of our union had been irreparably sundered, and that my journey toward healing and redemption would begin with reclaiming the dignity that had been stripped away by the callous hands of infidelity. But then I thought, if she's into him, she can have him. She's not mine anymore. Feeling oddly calm, I took out my phone, zoomed in, and snapped a bunch of close-up pictures and a short video. Then, I texted her, "Guess what, sweetheart? My meeting got pushed, and I'm back early. Seems like you're in good hands tonight. I'll head back home, guessing you'll be staying the night with Dr. Clayton. Got it now why you've been ignoring my calls and texts. Have a blast, and cheers to our marriage ending. I'll be gone by the time you come back tomorrow." I pressed send and watched calmly, curious if she'd see the message. Watching her, I saw her phone light up. She noticed, picked it up, and started pressing buttons, clearly looking for the text. Vera sobered up fast, her face turning serious the moment she saw my message. As soon as I noticed her reaction, I left the party for my car. Vera must have freaked seeing me go, but I was outside before she could catch up. As I got into my car, I heard her yelling, "Tony, please wait." I just gave her a cold look, shook my head, got in my car, and drove off before she could catch up. My phone started blowing up with calls, but I was too upset to even think about picking up. If she wanted to go back to her ex, it was clear we were over. I mean, after catching them together, we were definitely done. 22 years since I left that cheater, and she runs back to him at the first chance. Guess she's got some explaining to do to our family and the kids because this mess is on her. My phone kept filling up with desperate texts. "Tony, please come back. I need to explain. I love you, please come back." Damn it, Tony, it's not what you think. I love you. But after 2 days of long flights, no calls or texts back, her cold attitude, and seeing her with Clayton, I had no interest in hearing her out. I was as mad as I could be and wanted nothing to do with her or her excuses. After ignoring 20 calls and texts, I finally stopped and sent one text back. It said, "Forget you. I'm doing great with my job, my kids are off to college, and everything's paid for. I'm free to do as I please." I still had enough youth left to begin anew. After driving for 4 hours out of my 7-hour journey back to Nashville, I stopped at a diner to grab a meal and take a quick nap in the car before resuming my trip home. While enjoying my eggs and bacon, I decided to express my feelings to the world. At that time, Facebook was the go-to social media platform. With a simple tap on my phone, I transitioned my Facebook status from the blissful confines of happily married to the stark reality of single and available. Accompanying this digital metamorphosis were two damning photographs, capturing Vera and Clayton entwined in an embrace that bespoke of intimacy beyond mere camaraderie. In the second image, Clayton's hand boldly trespassed the boundaries of propriety, resting brazenly on Vera's bosom. Beneath the photographic evidence, I penned a candid commentary, illuminating Vera's perceived upgrade as she reunited with her former spouse, juxtaposed against my renewed venture into the realm of singledom. While some may perceive my actions as rash or immature, to me, it represented an unequivocal assertion of agency, a conscious step towards reclaiming autonomy and charting a course unencumbered by the weight of betrayal. The bitter irony of the situation did not escape me. Clayton, a man inching towards the threshold of 50, characterized by receding hairlines and a paunch, hardly embodied the epitome of an upgrade. Yet, despite the stark incongruity between perception and reality, Vera had chosen to forsake the sanctuary of our marriage in favor of revisiting a past rife with infidelity and disillusionment. The perplexity of her decision, whether rooted in nostalgia, misplaced desire, or sheer folly, pierced through the facade of rationality, leaving in its wake a maelstrom of emotions. Anguish and resentment intermingled with incredulity and indignation, painting a vivid portrait of the tumult raging within. Yet, amidst the tumultuous tide of emotions, a semblance of clarity emerged, a resolute commitment to uphold the sanctity of self-respect and unwavering integrity. For in the crucible of betrayal, one is faced with a choice: succumb to the suffocating embrace of despair or forge ahead with an unwavering resolve. I chose the latter, navigating the treacherous terrain of heartache and disillusionment with a stoic resolve that belied the turmoil raging within. After sating my hunger with a leisurely breakfast and stealing a fleeting moment of respite in the cocoon of my car, I embarked once more upon the open road, guided by the compass of self-renewal and emancipation. As the familiar contours of home loomed on the horizon, heralding the conclusion of my journey, I braced myself for the onslaught of notifications that awaited me, a cacophony of pleas, entreaties, and reproaches that reverberated through the digital ether. With a heavy heart and a mind burdened by the weight of irrevocable decisions, I steeled myself for the inevitable confrontation that awaited within the confines of our once shared abode. For within those hallowed walls, amidst the echoes of shattered dreams and fractured promises, lay the crucible in which the remnants of our love were destined to be consigned to the annals of memory. As tears threatened to spill, I came to a stark realization: what was once a thriving household had now become an empty shell, echoing the shattered remnants of our marriage. Over the course of 5 years, we had meticulously crafted our humble abode into an idyllic sanctuary. Back when mortgage rates lingered below 2.99% and our home's value had doubled, I, as the family's financial steward, made the prudent decision to refinance, extracting a substantial $500,000 in equity. Without delay, I allocated $200,000 into trust funds for each of our daughters' college education, providing them with a solid foundation for their future endeavors. With the remaining $100,000, we embarked on a series of home improvements, elevating our dwelling into a sanctuary we took immense pride in. Thanks to the favorable interest rates, our monthly payments increased by a mere $700, a nominal sum compared to the invaluable investments made in our family's well-being. Upon her return to the workforce as a receptionist, Vera admirably shouldered the additional financial burden, while I, buoyed by the prospects of my recent promotion to Chief Financial Officer, eagerly anticipated the impending stock options that would serve as our retirement nest egg. Despite Vera's disinterest in our financial affairs, I harbored no qualms, trusting in my acumen to secure our family's financial future. However, the impending merger, coinciding ominously with the dissolution of our marriage, held the promise of a lucrative bonus in the form of stock options, approximately 40,000 shares, contingent upon the success of the venture. Though the realization of these options lay several years in the future, the prospect of each share hitting $100 buoyed my optimism, instilling a renewed sense of confidence in the face of adversity. Yet, as the specter of divorce loomed, fueled by irreconcilable differences, I found myself consumed by a maelstrom of emotions. Our assets, totaling around $50,000 in savings, would be split amicably, while the heavily mortgaged house promised little in terms of equitable division. Vera, at 44, would depart with her car and a modest sum of $25,000, a stark reminder of the cost of infidelity. The resurgence of Clayton, a figure from my past, dredged up a myriad of emotions, both joyous and melancholic. Once my spouse, our union had faltered in the wake of his infidelity, severing the bond we once shared. Though he held a special place in my heart, it was Tony, my current husband, who held my affections. Yet, in a moment of vulnerability, I found myself succumbing to Clayton's embrace, allowing him to hold me close, his lips brushing against mine. Amidst the joyous celebration of Carol's wedding, I found myself entangled in a whirlwind of emotions, grappling with the weight of betrayal and the shattered remnants of a once happy union. As I stood amidst the throng of guests, enveloped in the rhythmic pulse of music and laughter, my gaze unwittingly gravitated towards Vera, my wife of 19 years, seated in quiet conversation with Clayton, her former husband. The sight of them together, their laughter mingling with the strains of music, struck a discordant chord within me, an ominous portent of the upheaval that awaited. Despite the passage of time, Clayton's presence evoked memories of a tumultuous past, a chapter in our lives marred by infidelity and heartache. Yet, amidst the festivities, I dared to hope that the scars of old wounds had faded, relegated to the annals of memory. As the evening wore on, I observed Vera's demeanor shift, her laughter tinged with a hint of nostalgia as she reminisced with Clayton, oblivious to the storm brewing within me. With each passing moment, I felt the tenuous threads of our marriage unravel, frayed by the specter of betrayal and the hollow promises of fidelity. Caught in the throes of disbelief, I struggled to comprehend the depth of Vera's betrayal, the magnitude of her indiscretion laid bare for all to see. In that fleeting moment, as she yielded to Clayton's embrace, I felt the sting of humiliation, the bitter taste of betrayal lingering on my lips. Yet, amidst the turmoil, a steely resolve began to take root within me, a silent vow to confront the harsh reality of our fractured marriage. With each passing second, I found myself inching closer towards the precipice of decision, torn between the bonds of loyalty and the gnawing ache of betrayal. And then, as if guided by some unseen force, I found myself confronting Vera, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavy in the air. In that charged moment, amidst the cacophony of voices and laughter, I uttered words tinged with a bitter resolve, a solemn declaration of intent. In the aftermath of that fateful encounter, as I retreated into the shadows of solitude, I found solace in the embrace of silence, a respite from the tumult of emotions that raged within. And amidst the echoes of a love betrayed, I resolved to chart a new course, one untethered by the shackles of betrayal and forged in the crucible of resilience. Leaving behind my wedding ring atop the note, I departed for what I knew would be the final time. The weight of my decision bore down on me heavily as I drove away from the once familiar sanctuary of our home, venturing into the unknown abyss of a new reality. My heart ached with a mixture of sorrow, regret, and the bitter sting of betrayal. Before leaving, I took the step of dividing our funds on my laptop and canceling our joint credit card, ensuring she would have to fend for herself financially from that day forth. If she chose to contest the divorce, she would bear the burden of managing all the bills alone, a task I knew she couldn't handle on her own, especially with the mortgage and utilities. As I navigated the lonely road ahead, the events of the past few days replayed in my mind like a relentless, haunting echo. I couldn't shake the image of Vera, devastated by my departure, drowning her sorrows in alcohol amidst uncontrollable sobbing. Her friends, consumed by worry, made multiple attempts to contact me, desperate to prevent her from further disrupting the wedding reception. Returning home on Sunday morning with a heavy heart and a throbbing hangover, I was met by my father at the airport. His concerned expression mirrored my own distress, and I found solace in his comforting embrace. Tearfully, I confided in him about the events that had transpired, acknowledging my grave mistake and expressing regret for my actions. As I recounted the events of the previous night, the magnitude of my betrayal weighed heavily upon me. I realized that I had not only betrayed Tony but also myself, succumbing to the same temptation that had once torn my own marriage asunder. With a heavy heart, I attempted to reach out to Tony, desperately seeking forgiveness and reconciliation. Yet, as the hours passed and my calls went unanswered, the painful truth began to dawn on me: Tony was gone, his absence a stark reminder of the irreversible damage wrought by my actions. The wedding ring, left behind as a silent testament to our shattered dreams, served as a poignant reminder of the love and trust that had been irreparably broken. In the midst of my anguish, I couldn't help but reflect on the bitter irony of my situation. In betraying Tony with Clayton, the very man who had once betrayed me, I had unwittingly perpetuated a cycle of hurt and betrayal. And now, as I grappled with the harsh reality of our failed marriage, I couldn't help but wonder if forgiveness was ever truly within reach. As the days turned into weeks, I found myself consumed by a profound sense of loss and regret, grappling with the realization that the life I had once known was now irrevocably changed. I relocated to the company's condo, which was typically reserved for visiting clients, as it happened to be vacant at the time. Upon informing my chief executive officer about my situation, he graciously approved my stay there. My boss, Bill, who also happens to be a close friend, had navigated a similar situation in the past. Drawing from his own experience, he advised me to consider delaying the receipt of this year's stock options for a more advantageous outcome. The following day, I made my way to the office, knowing well that Vera wouldn't be able to bypass security to reach me. I had already instructed the security team to politely escort her out if she attempted to visit. True to their instructions, they handled the situation efficiently, preventing Vera from accessing me at work. Despite her persistent efforts, I remained resolute in my decision to avoid all contact with her, leaving her in the dark about my whereabouts and unreachable by phone. Amidst this turmoil, my daughters reached out to me in distress, imploring me to communicate with their mother. In response, I explained to them firmly but calmly that Vera's decision to be with someone else constituted a clear betrayal in my eyes. I emphasized the gravity of infidelity and underscored the inevitable dissolution of our marriage. Though they initially struggled to accept my stance, I endeavored to impart upon them the importance of respect and fidelity in relationships, urging them to learn from their mother's mistakes. After sharing a post on Facebook detailing the situation, I was inundated with inquiries from friends and family seeking clarification. However, I also experienced an unexpected surge in attention from women who were drawn to the newfound energy and excitement in my life. Embarking on a series of dates with these newfound companions, I relished in the rejuvenating experiences they offered, contrasting starkly with the negativity and complaints that had characterized my relationship with Vera. A month following my social media revelation, I crossed paths with Cheryl, who would later become my wife. Our connection was instant, and before long, we became a couple. As my divorce with Vera was finalized, she learned of my newfound happiness with Cheryl, eliciting a mix of anger, jealousy, and regret within her. Despite her emotional turmoil, I remained steadfast in my resolve to move forward, embracing the promising future that lay ahead with Cheryl by my side. I didn't offer her another chance before moving forward. I rebuffed all her attempts to arrange a meeting and exclusively communicated with her through our attorneys. Eventually, we sold the house, covering the real estate agent's fees and other selling expenses, leaving a modest $11,000 in equity. Deciding that Vera should receive this amount, the lawyers diligently pursued a portion of my future earnings. However, the court ruled against this, opting instead to base the settlement on my current income. Given Vera's employment, providing alimony wouldn't pose significant challenges. Ultimately, I consented to disbursing $2,000 monthly for 2 years. While not exorbitant, it offered her a lifeline until she regained her footing or found a new partner, which clearly wouldn't be me. In the ensuing years, Vera and I communicated solely through our legal representatives. She relocated to Chicago, where she sought solace in a support group and eventually cohabited with Dr. Clayton, whom she had grown close to. Gone was the vibrant woman she once was with me, now bearing the weight of regret and the consequences of her impulsive actions. She had jeopardized our idyllic life fueled by anger and self-interest, fully aware of the repercussions. Though she hadn't been physically intimate with Clayton that night, her behavior disregarded the sanctity of our marriage, as if she were unattached. 3 years later, at our daughter's graduation, Vera encountered my new wife, Cheryl, who was 28 and expecting our child, Jolene. At 47, Vera appeared markedly older, accompanied by Dr. Clayton, who wisely remained in the background. Subsequently, Vera sought a private conversation with me, expressing remorse for her choices and lamenting the life we could have sustained. She acknowledged the folly of jeopardizing our once perfect union for naught. In response, I assured Vera of my forgiveness, though I never envisioned finding her entangled in another's embrace. I expressed gratitude for the joyful moments we shared, our 2 daughters, and the love we once had. Despite the pain caused by Vera's actions, they ultimately led me to Cheryl and the opportunity to start anew, forming a new family that helped me transcend my anger. I encouraged Vera to focus on her future, assuring her that our past was behind us. Wishing her well, I conveyed hopes of seeing her at future family gatherings. In that moment, Cheryl approached, holding our daughter, providing me with the chance to introduce them. The disparity in their ages was evident, with Vera, at 47, appearing as if she could be Cheryl's mother. This realization compounded Vera's regret over the choices that led her to forfeit the love of her life for a moment of anger and selfishness. Over the following decade, our paths crossed again at our daughters' weddings. Vera remained unmarried, continuing her life with Clayton, who treated her kindly. However, witnessing me with my new family, including our young daughters, stirred bittersweet memories for her. The once happy life she shared with me now existed only in recollection, leaving her to grapple with regret for the love and happiness she let slip away. In a twist of fate that summer, after cashing in my stock options, I repurchased our old family home when it became available on the market again. My entire family and friends, with the exception of Vera, rejoiced at the prospect of reclaiming the house brimming with cherished memories. My daughters, in particular, relished revisiting and reminiscing about their childhood in our loving home. Though Vera opted for a divergent path, she would have treasured continuing the life we once envisioned together. Nonetheless, life progresses, and I find joy in forging a new path and crafting fresh memories with Cheryl and our daughters. It's a lesson learned: before wronging someone, ensure you'll never require their presence again.